So yeah, this isn't real far along, obviously. Frankly, making the armature whole structure for the thing was a pain. Um, this is what I'm really trying to do. It's trying to get something that's not so heavy, so when I cast it, and I'm thinking I'll cast it in bronze, but so that when I cast it in bronze or resin, especially bronze, it doesn't weigh several tons. And that would be preferable. But yeah, very early, just doing the kind of boring grunt work of building out the forms, the basic forms. There might be some changes. Well, yeah, there are going to be changes, obviously. Totally lousy, god-awful weather here. And I know it's like an old person thing to talk about the weather, and it's insanely boring, but yeah. But I got an Airedale Terrier named Hugo, and yeah, can't believe how cooperative he's being, because he's going to show up pretty soon and demand some serious walkage, which I'm pretty down for. That would be pretty cool, especially I'm looking for a break in the rain. I think we'll get it, grab Hugo, go knock out at least an hour walk. I'd really like to go for an hour and a half. I'm also going to try and get him over to the dog park today. He's pretty rambunctious, and I can't blame him. He's been cooped up inside. Winter in Indiana will do that to you. But get him over to the dog park, get him a good rough up with his dog friends. Rough up is now one of my favorite phrases. Not just my, I guess it's just dog phrase. I'm not sure when else I would get a chance to use it, but rough up is my favorite phrase right now. I've got about 2 more pages of Middlemarch. Middlemarch, if you don't know, novel by George Eliot. George Eliot was pen name for Mary Kay Evans. It's a 19th century novel. I would have to check. I think it's set about 1832, because the English Reform Bill comes up. That's discussed. Anyway, yeah, Middlemarch. It's absolutely fantastic. I think it's got to be, and admittedly I'm not an expert, but I think it almost certainly has to be the best novel written in the English language. Maybe the best novel, period. It's exceptional. It's so good. It's completely excellent. I barely know where to begin to talk about how good it is. If I didn't say so before, sorry, real quick. Yeah, Middlemarch is a novel by George Eliot. George Eliot was the pen name of Mary Kay Evans. I believe I'm getting that name right. Anyway, I think it's about 900 pages, or I think it's just shy of 900 pages. I only have a couple left to go. I had to get to work, so I couldn't finish this morning. But I'm really looking forward to the last few pages. Although this is my second time reading the novel, and I think there's definitely going to be a third. There's no question. I'm not sure if I'm going to begin right away, or I might just begin right away. The chapters are pretty short and manageable, and so I might just do another reading, 1 chapter a day, and read other things at the same time. I know that's not a great, there's different schools of thought on whether or not that's a good idea or not, but maybe I'll give that a shot. I feel I'm familiar enough with, I think the novel will reward, I know it will reward additional readings. I mean, if you come back to it, it's the kind of novel you're always going to find something new. You're always going to find new depths. You're always going to find things that you looked overlooked. Yeah, it's hard to describe how rich it is, but certainly it's the kind of book that really will reward rereading. There are other novels that I like. There are other novels I like more for certain reasons. I like Moby Dick a lot. In some ways, it's probably my favorite novel. Moby Dick really is a high wire act. It's incredible. The amount of experimentation. There's just a tremendous amount of daring. You take Melville, Moby Dick, written by Herman Melville. Melville just takes astonishing chances with the writing. It really is a high wire act, and he does manage to pull it off. So it's probably my favorite novel. I don't, objectively speaking, though, well, there's favorite. Middlemarch is the better novel, even though it's not my favorite. In terms of, that's really hard. I'm not really sure that's reasonable. Middlemarch is so good. I think it's kind of, it's hard to say favorite. A favorite seems way too shallow. It seems way too superficial. A label, stick on Middlemarch. It's amazing. It's sort of like saying, well, the Rembrandt paintings are masterpieces. Yeah. So, talking about liking them or not liking them seems almost silly. Middlemarch seems well above that, as does Moby Dick in some ways. So I guess it's an interesting question. Is it possible? How difficult is it to like something that is so good? Liking it seems almost superficial. It seems almost a disservice to Mary Kay Evans, George Eliot, take your pick, to say that you like Middlemarch. It seems much more, it seems too impressive for that. It seems almost shallow to say you like it. Anyway, say something about sculpture. Very, very early stages. This will all change. Really just sort of roughing in proportions at this point. Because of the camera, because I'm chained to the camera, I can't even really step back enough to judge how the proportions are. So this is just now I'm just roughing in the eyes, the nose here, and then there'll be a much more careful building up of the structure of the face, of the visage, of the head here. So again, I hope it's not too boring. It's early stages. Time permitting, I want to try and get to the gym this afternoon. That's if I can take Hugo on a long walk and wear him out for a while, that will be awesome. Then I can make the scene at the gym, knock that out, come back here, work some more, head to the dog park. I wish the weather were better. I'm worried the dog park attendance is gonna suffer. It's just in the way of things, so it goes. Sometimes that's better. Sometimes Hugo, my Airedale Terrier, excellent, wonderful dogs, by the way. Sometimes if there are not too many dogs there, he finds a sparring partner of whom he's particularly fond, and they romp. And there's a good rough up. There's a good tussle. There's a good sparring session. If there are lots of dogs, it's more kind of complicated. Again, dogs are kind of like, well, not kind of like, they're like, in many ways, they're like children, especially dogs that are pets. When it's two dogs, playing, it's pretty ideal. And then like a third dog comes along, and the third dog, like a lot of times it's German Shepherds. They're like, I've got to police you. You guys got to behave. You guys need to calm down, which is pretty great. I love the German Shepherds, but it can break up the sparring. It can break up the good rough up that's going on. Still, yeah, I love German Shepherds. I think they're awesome, and I kind of appreciate them being police dogs. They kind of police. They kind of run around, try and make the other dogs behave. Sometimes, oftentimes. I like the Huskies because they're drama queens. The Huskies are really quite good drama queens. The Terriers, like my Airedale, they're goofballs. They're pretty silly. Fantastic dogs, though. I think it's just an absolutely wonderful breed, and great dogs. Like most people who go to dog park, I really like dogs, obviously. All right. Get in this here, get some more work done, grab quick lunch, working lunch. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna grab protein shake and work through lunch with it. That usually seems like that's usually pretty good. I have the house all to myself. It's a really good day to concentrate. It's a really good day to focus. So that seems like I really want to take advantage of that opportunity as much as possible. I will just say I'm really hoping that I'm not going to have to do serious changes to this armature. By the armature, I mean there's a metal rod going through here, which is then pounded, which is then attached to the base here. And then there's a structure of armature wire. You can see some of the wire. And that was a real pain. That was a project in and of itself to get the armature wire to behave, to do what I wanted it to do. And it's my first time really working like this, not really working with a solid shape. And I'm really hoping that I won't have to make serious changes to the armature, because if I do have to make serious changes to the armature, it's going to be a drag. It is going to be a pain. The armature was really time consuming. And I had to tell myself, if the armature is not good, really courting disaster. That's one definitely one thing you see with sculpture, man. The armature, it can just all fall apart. It can just all collapse. There's so many places with sculptures. With sculptures of the kind that I do, there's so many opportunities for everything to fall apart, literally, or just collapse, just turn over, just fall. Yeah. I'm not even sure. It seems almost stupid to call it frustrating. It's just such a part of life. It's such a part of what you're doing. Though it is very frustrating. So I had to really force myself to work on the armature steadily, try and make sure it was a really good foundation, make sure it would actually work. make sure it was strong enough. The initial one I made, I think it probably would have wobbled and gone back and forth too much. So. All right. It's good. And I'll catch you later. Thanks.